All right, let's get into it. This is very odd. It's very late. For me, it's 2:40. For her, it's probably 1:40, I think. This is very odd. Candace Owens has issued a very real, very serious, uh, kind of a plea for help and kind of just putting it out there so everybody knows what's going on. I think that's the smartest way to do it. But they're like Andrew Colvett, according to Candace, throughout this week, she verified that Andrew Colvett said that there was a credible threat on her life and Tucker Carlson's life. Then Candace revealed that Andrew said while they were talking the day or the day after Charlie passed that it was supposed to be her. She didn't take that super serious when he said it because they were both in tears and they were upset. But apparently, Andrew had information about whatever this credible threat was. Andrew also told, and this could be Andrew, could be Tyler, also told Betty Johnson that there was credible evidence of who did what. That's what I'll say. They don't like me to say what. Anyway, that they also told Benny Johnson something similar. Very weird. So, with all that being known, Candace actually says this. She says this is urgent. She's put this out like an hour ago. Yeah, so it says for her it was 12:30 a.m. Yeah, so it was probably like 1:30 or something like that, based on time differences and stuff. 2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking employee of the French government after determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple. I have deemed the information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens. In short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my demise. Yes, you read that right. More specifically, that the green light was given to a small team in national, I think that's Grand Marnier. I think so. Intervention group. We'll call them GIG. I am told that there is one Philadelphian that is on this squad, and the plans were formalized. Again, this person, let me make sure you guys can see it here. Again, this person provided concrete proof that they were well placed within the French government apparatus. Further to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's passing, the person that took out Charlie Kirk trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade with multiple state involvement. Journalist Xavier, I'll say Poussard. Journalist Xavier Poussard's life is also at risk. This is deadly serious. The head of the state of France apparently wants us both gone, and you can see what words actually there, and has authorized professional units to carry this out. This is wild. This is really wild. Can't put it past somebody who's friends with Justin Trudeau. Let's just be straight up. Good friends with Justin Trudeau. To carry this out. I ask every person to retweet and share this. I do not know who in the American government can be trusted, since this source claims our leaders are aware. But I have more specific information, which is definitely verifiable should they care to reach out to me. So I guess somebody should reach out to her. This is nuts. To the brave official in France who did this because they were so moved by the evil of Charlie Kirk's public passing, to risk their own life. May God bless you truly. Let all be revealed. This is pretty nuts, honestly. This is pretty nuts. Crazy. And thank you to the person who tagged me. Thank you so much for tagging me in this. Again, just to go back, I mean, she revealed this week that Andrew Colvett said that there was a credible threat upon her life, never told her who. Also, Tucker, he also said it was supposed to be you. Then on top of that, they tell Benny Johnson something similar. Okay? Not that Benny's under threat or anything. Just they tell Benny that there is evidence that some people like what Candace just mentioned were involved. Substantial evidence is the term that Benny used. Then if you start to really think about what Candace has been talking about in regards to, and she gave this timeline when she was talking about the Macrones, she was talking about that couple. She was contacted by Charlie. She showed those text messages. She said, hey, listen, Charlie actually said, sorry, hey, listen, they want you to stop talking about this woman. Quotations, woman. They want you to stop talking about this person. You know, it's interfering with the Ukrainian peace deal, right? Then she thought she was going to get a call from POTUS. POTUS does not call her. Someone else calls her. They make somewhat of a demand of her to stop. She doesn't take kindly to that. So she keeps on pressing forward. Then POTUS actually calls her and says, hey, listen. And she goes over this in an episode. I remember listening to this episode months ago where she's talking about, she's like, somebody high up, the highest high actually contacted me and was like, hey, can you stop doing this? And me and my wife were like, oh, she's talking about POTUS. That's who she's talking about right now, obviously. Right? And it turns out she was. So this kind of makes sense. I mean, if it's that far up the chain to where she's being sued, right? She's being sued. The POTUS is calling her, saying, hey, this needs to stop. Someone else calls, demands her to stop. Charlie calls and asks, being a messenger, saying, hey, can you stop? That means it's going right up the chain. That means that this man in France, good friends with Justin Trudeau, real close when they talk, you know what I mean? That means this man is talking to the top of America about Candace. That's a pretty big sign. And could something like that be called for pretty easily by people in that position? Yes. Am I saying it's true? No, I won't say that. I won't say that hard. But very easy for that to happen. No, Siri. I didn't even say anything that sounded like Siri. You know how that goes. So, this is very serious from Candace. And it should be taken very serious because, and I know so many people are going to come out and be like, she's making this all about her. She's making this all about her. She's a pretty big voice. If you think Charlie was powerful, she was just as powerful. She just went a different way. And then it makes you wonder, you know, if Charlie thought something like this was going to happen to him, not her, and he thought she was going to take on the fight and finish, be his David, and then he's the one that contacts her when these very high up people are talking about her in the background, and then something happens to him. It really just makes you wonder how deep it all goes. Man, very, very weird stuff, man. Yeah, pray for Candace. Pray that she's all good. I mean, the thing is, the reason I look at it as very serious is because she didn't take to her she didn't take to YouTube. She didn't wait. She didn't go, "Oh, well, we'll talk about this on Monday." No, she was like, "This has to be put out there ASAP." And the last time she did that, I'm just checking her Instagram right now. The last time she did that, it was verifiably true what she had to say. Okay, so on her Instagram, she just reposted the same thing. Yeah. Candace Owens. It says posted by Candace Farmer. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so she just said that. Yeah, that's the only thing she's put out so far. Ooh, man. And I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Power and influence. When somebody has power and someone else has influence, they become a real problem. Right? And you're seeing that. You're seeing that with Candace. You're seeing that with Tucker. You're seeing that with a lot of people who have this influence. Because the powerful people understand that influence turns into power real quick. It's just all about what you choose to do with it. If Tucker goes on tour and says, "Hey, this is how I'm thinking," and starts swaying people in that thinking, that's immense power. Right? That influence turns into power. Influence is getting them into the room. Power is getting them to think a certain way or helping them understand certain things that are going on in the world. That's what Charlie had. That's what Candace has. If she goes on tour and starts saying everything she says in her podcast, right now it's influence and also power. You can tell she's very powerful. She's the #1 podcast right now. And I think this is all very serious. Here's the other reason I think it's serious, because of this guy right here. This guy right here, he's gotten very, very quiet. And he had no problem just dropping down in the podcast ranking. And he knows a lot of people. He knows more people than Candace would know. He knows more people than Charlie would have known in terms of people in those positions. And all of a sudden, he felt it was like, I think I'm going to fall back right now. I think there's something to that. I'm just saying. That's just me. I think there's something to him falling back the way he has. Usually with something, he'll at least jokingly touch on certain things. Like, did you hear Rogan and Theo Von talking? Oh, man, it's weird. It's real weird. Rogan, Theo Von, he's talking about Philadelphia. He's like, "Hey, man, how long you think Philadelphia is going to let us live?" And Joe's like, "What the F are you talking about?" Not even looking at him, looking down. On his phone. "What the F are you talking about?" Just looking at his phone, just doing some stuff. He's like, I'm just, he goes, And then Theo Von's like, "Oh, I'm talking about Israel Adesanya." He's a UFC fighter. And Joe's like, "Oh, well, that guy loves you. Don't worry. You don't have to worry about him." I was like, whoa, this is getting weird. Even Theo, for some reason, feels that way. And Theo mentioned while he was on the podcast with Joe that he had just, I think he said he had just had dinner with Candace. And after having dinner with Candace, he's questioning how long he's going to be allowed to live. And Theo Von has been voicing some concerns about what's happening over, Philadelphia way. Something weird's going on, man. Something weird's going on. I don't take this lightly. If you're on X, you can find the post. It's her most recent. Do what she's asking. Retweet it. I wanted to retweet it, but I also wanted to do this. I wanted to go a step above and do this because she's really pushing forward. And it's not just with Charlie. It's with many things that she's decided to push forward with. And we can't afford to have more influential, powerful voices that can't be bought be taken away from us. We can't afford anymore. One JFK being taken away caused ripples that you can't possibly imagine. That's why they call him the last president. That's why they call him that. Every time somebody very influential, very much obsessed with telling the truth, even if it gets them in trouble, like real trouble, like this kind of trouble, you lose those people. It changes the course of history. It changes the course of history. Losing Charlie changed the course of history. And you don't even understand how. I don't even understand how. It changed it. It was supposed to go one way with him being here. And now that he's gone, it's going to go another way. I'm not saying it's going to be worse or anything like that. But it's going to be different. Very, very different. We can't afford to lose too many people. And what can you do? All you can do is retweet. All you can do is share. That's it. That's all you can really do. And that's all I can really do. But stay tuned. We will see what else is popping up. So odd. I'm telling you, there's really something. There's something to him falling back the way he has. There's something to it. It's almost, and again, can't say for sure. Don't know the guy. I actually could message somebody that knows him. But the fact that he fell back and he knows so many people, it's almost like, you know, and maybe not. But I was going to say it's almost like he got a warning, but who knows? I think Candace was right. I think she said it today. What happened to Charlie was a warning for various people who are in these powerful positions of influence to speak to many people. And it's like you got to see that. If you're going to keep pressing, in Charlie's words, keep asking the question, then you get to see. It's just an example. I want to call it something else, but I'll just call it an example. Anyways, guys, pray for Candace. Pray for Candace. And I hope this is something. Like, I know so many people are going to make fun of this. I hope this is something that's just like, oh, you know, I hope it is. Because could you imagine? God forbid. God forbid. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here.